Hello, everyone. Welcome to your weekly intuitive astrology and energy forecast for the week of September 22nd through September 28th. If you are a new member or soul scriber, welcome. It is lovely to have you here. You will receive this forecast each Sunday, and occasionally, coming back soon, they will be live again. These are meant to help you to navigate the terrain ahead, to be aware of the incoming energies and how the energy can land, how it can play out, and what you can potentially do to help to navigate the terrain with more ease and grace and compassion. At least that's the goal, and I sincerely hope that you find these helpful. I know a lot of people write into me saying that they just really appreciate this guidance and that it helps them so much, and I love to hear that because that's the point. So, tagline for the week ahead: when in doubt, turn in, not out. This is a potent week of energetic shifts that are happening. Our physical bodies are absolutely feeling it. So if you've been feeling a little bit off balance, like your equilibrium might be a little bit off, perhaps you're struggling with some headaches or some head pressure, digestive trouble, digestive disturbances, heart palpitations, we are in a corner of the year where the energy is very strong. We are at the equinox, and we are coming off of a solar eclipse as we start this week. Taking care of the physical vessel is a necessity. It's a must. Taking care of the spirit, also a must. When in doubt, go in, not out. Taking time alone, taking time away, taking time to press pause, to have a reset, all favored this week. Question that came in that I would like to address before we start the forecast: what if you are born under a solar eclipse? What if you're born under a solar eclipse? Or what if your birthday falls on a solar eclipse? So let's start with the first question. What if you were born under a solar eclipse? Well, I am sure that many babies were born, now I'm recording this a couple of days before, but on the 21st of September, when we have our solar eclipse in Virgo, which is the sun and the moon aligned at the 29th degree of Virgo. So naturally, there will be babies that are born under the solar eclipse. Well, what does that mean for their trajectory, for their life? It means that they are spiritually guided, just like we all are. They're born under a very intense new moon, new beginnings. And it would be interesting to know all of their personal backstories of the families that they are born into, if endings precipitate these new beginnings. I have found with quite a few clients that are born under a solar eclipse, especially when it is a total solar eclipse, that a family member or somebody very closely connected to the family predeceases that birth. So that soul actually departs around the time of the birth of said soul who is born under the total solar eclipse. I have seen that happen quite a few times. But spiritually speaking, symbolically speaking, to be born under a solar eclipse, you're born under a very powerful, intense new moon, and that individual, dependent upon, of course, the environment that they're born into, the nature versus nurture component, they can be extremely intuitive. We also have to always factor in the sign and the degree and all of that. So it gets very technical, it gets very nuanced and very layered, but in a very general way, generally speaking, to be born under an intense new moon is to be born under a solar eclipse. Powerful new beginnings that show up in this individual's life that could often feel chaotic, or like there's a unseen force or hand at work in that individual's life, which there is for all of us, but it may feel more so for that soul that's born under a solar eclipse. The potent energy that that individual will hold, which can be potentially chaotic at times, there's the potential there, though, to funnel that into spiritual and or creative endeavors. There's a strong energy of spiritual guidance, strong spiritual guidance for those born under a solar eclipse. In fact, in some cultures, it is seen as a sign of destiny and or greatness to be born under a solar eclipse, where in other cultures, it is seen as a bad omen. I feel to be born at all is special, but to be born under a very intense new moon, the very beginning of the lunar cycle, under that powerful energy, I would feel that that individual, that soul would possess quite a bit of spiritual personal power that's readily available to them. But of course, what we do with that is that's where the free will piece comes in. But there is always a very strong sense of fate when it's attached to eclipses. I hope that makes sense. Biologically and scientifically, there's really nothing proven either way. It's just my feeling, my experience. And if you were born under a solar eclipse, let us know in the comments. Getting to the week ahead, once again, the tagline, when in doubt, go in, not out. Trust your intuition, trust your inner guidance, trust your inner spiritual guidance. Monday, September 22nd is a pretty palpable, potent day. The moon will be in Libra, and the moon will align with Mercury in Libra. Mars, the planet of energy and force and the way that we take action and our ability to fight and stand up for ourselves and for others, our energy levels, our aggression, our sexuality, all of that falls under Mars's domain. Mars enters Scorpio on Monday the 22nd and will be in Scorpio until early November, I believe the 4th or the 5th. And while Mars is in Scorpio, collectively speaking, Mars is in the height of his power in Scorpio because Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. We can get a lot accomplished with quiet tenacity, laser focus, and attention to detail with precision. Mars entering Scorpio can also pull a lot of energy and focus onto the darker themes of life. And collectively speaking, the darker themes of what happens when there is too much greed and gluttony in the world, what that could look like, what that could cause. This is very strong energy of what's done in the dark will come to light. And if not now, a glimmer of eventually, especially when it comes to power and or manipulation. The sun will enter Libra on Monday the 22nd at 2:19 p.m. Eastern Time. And happy birthday to all of our Libras. It's your season. Also, as the sun enters Libra, we usher in the equinox. The autumn equinox here in the northern hemisphere, the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere. Either way, equal parts of day and light, yin and yang, ego and soul, head and heart, dark and light, all of the polarities, the balance. We're reminded of this. This is a turning point. This is a time where we reassess where we are at, we reevaluate, we rest, we reset, we recalibrate. Physically speaking, remember that the energy is a lot right now. The ringing of the ears, the headaches, the vertigo. Of course, always get yourself checked out, disclaimer, but the energy is intense right now. The vessel, the physical vessel, feels it. Ground, get outside, drink nice, fresh, filtered water, eat healthy foods that support your system, and just take care. Tune in and give your body what it needs right now. As we move into these darker months, as we move into the second half of the zodiac here, this is the time to go within a little bit more, to retreat. It's like we're descending into our own underworld to come up stronger when the time is right. The equinox is always a turning point, a reminder of where we can shed and let go of what no longer serves. And you'll find that a lot of times the shed occurs naturally, organically, because 'tis the season. This is the time of year. Strengthening this turning point is that we are coming off of that 29th degree of Virgo, new moon, solar eclipse. Powerful, potent energies of endings and beginnings. A turning point in our story. I've linked the solar eclipse reading in case you missed it. So you're going to want to check that out to get more details about the energy of this eclipse and how it will reverberate, how it could reverberate, or how it could play out. It's always good to track your experiences. We also have a very supportive, an active grand air trine in the heavens. We've got Mercury in Libra, trining Uranus in Gemini, and then Uranus in Gemini trining Pluto in Aquarius, and Pluto in Aquarius trining back to Mercury in Libra. These are our air signs. This is a grand air trine. This is fabulous for bigger picture thinking, our bigger visions. It's great for ideas and for inspiration. It's great for brainstorming. It's great for intellectual banter. And at the same time, we have an active yod in the heavens, otherwise known as a finger of fate or a finger of God. We have Mars here at the early degrees of Scorpio. Mars making a quincunx or inconjunct, which is a 150-degree aspect over here to both Neptune and Saturn. Mars also making that quincunx over here to Uranus in Gemini. And then at the base of the yod, we've got Uranus in a sextile, supportive, to Neptune and Saturn. This is a reminder that we often will do our best work, our best growth occurs when we're stressed, when we feel pressured. This is both collective and personal. I do feel that this is a strong week of a lot of financial information coming to light, financial systems, and also the healthcare systems in the United States, but also in the UK. Let's also mention Haumea, the Hawaiian goddess of fertility, this dwarf planet here. She also factors into this yod, and aligned with Mars, there's something here about sexuality, birth, rebirth, fertility, the ways in which we are able to reinvent ourselves time and time again. And for some, this could even be literal fertility, becoming pregnant against the odds. It could be unexpected, but there's a strong reminder here of the body's ability to regenerate when we take care, when we take heed, when we take action for ourselves. Strong energy of healing. It is a reminder of what we are genuinely capable of, what our body is genuinely capable of. And we will see that play out collectively as well. The bulk of the astrology lands on Monday, but it does ripple out throughout the week. So all of these energies, these are going to be the theme, the background for the week ahead. Tuesday the 23rd, we've got the moon in a square with Jupiter. The sun now in Libra at 0 degrees of Libra is in opposition to Neptune. This can feel draining. This can feel personally draining. So I just want to stress to take good care. If you're a little bit more tired, rest, honor the needs of the body. And also know that when it comes to leaders, when it comes to world leaders, we will be receiving news of where we could feel duped by someone or something. And to bring it back to the tagline, when in doubt, go in, not out. Trust what's in here. Trust what's inside. We could also see a leader have a public health scare or a public health crisis could be playing out as we might not know right now, but we may find out about it this week. I do feel like it's a United States leader. Okay, the sun will also trine Uranus in Gemini, which is great for anything professional. It's great for quick thinking, inventive thinking, ideas, vision, etc. We will then have Vesta, which is our second largest asteroid in the asteroid belt. We've got Vesta in an exact square with Venus now in Virgo at 4 degrees. Vesta's in Sagittarius. This is significant because Vesta will always talk about what we hold sacred, and it also pulls focus, especially because it's in Sagittarius and it's squaring Venus in Virgo. Vesta has a strong attachment to Virgo because Virgo is all about the purification of the body and the spirit. Virgo is also about dedication, and it's very devoted to service. How can I serve? How can I help? And while Virgo certainly is not a virgin, there is a virginal quality attached to Virgo energy. Virgo's symbol is the maiden. It's a symbol of purity. When we have Vesta in Sagittarius squaring Venus in Virgo, it's a reminder that you may feel a little bit of pushback when it comes to protecting what is yours, what is sacred to you. It's a little bit like the my body, my rights type of energy. Something could come up that triggers you, that triggers our own sense of connection with self. What do we stand for? Is this supported? Am I supported? Am I on my mission, whatever that mission is? Am I on my sacred spiritual mission? Am I doing my sacred spiritual calling, which is different for everybody? Again, protecting and taking care of what's precious, which is you, your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit, all of it. And then the moon will go void at 12:02 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. So the moon will be void for the whole entire day on Tuesday starting at noon. And then it will enter Scorpio at 5 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday the 24th. I have Wednesday the 24th flagged as a hot button day, spicy and dicey. Be very, very careful as you move about the world, always, but I put a little bit more caution tape around Wednesday. We've got the sun in Libra now in a trine to Pluto, but we've got Mars in Scorpio in an active square, which is dynamic tension and friction. This is, I always say, it's like that kapow energy. It can be very explosive. We have to be careful with it. We have to be conscious. So Mars and Pluto squaring each other. This is active from the 23rd through the 26th, but it's exact on the 24th. So again, I have this flagged as hot button. Positively speaking, it's great for, personal energy and personal focus, but we need to check our motives. We need to keep our motives in check. We have to watch out for the power dynamics, power plays, whether we are the one at the hand of this or whether it's being done to us. And the moon will align with Mars in Scorpio. So strong energy. It's spicy, it's dicey, it's hot. Just if you use the power wisely, it can be very powerful. But it's powerful either way. Thursday, the 25th, we've got the sun in a semi-sextile to Mars in Scorpio, a very minor aspect, but I'm pulling it in because we don't really have anything specific too much going on Thursday. The moon will be in Scorpio, so it is a good day for research. It's a good day to get to the bottom of things, a good day to investigate. Then Friday, the 26th, the moon will go void at 1:44 p.m. Eastern Time, and it will enter Sagittarius at 5:37 p.m. Eastern Time. So we will just have a few hours there where the moon is void. You may want to take a beat during that time if you can, take a little bit of a break, because you just might feel a little bit more tired. The moon in Sagittarius will sextile the sun in Libra and also Pluto in Aquarius. It will oppose Uranus and trine Neptune. So I do like Friday. I feel like Friday, and as we go into the weekend, has the potential to be very cute, very optimistic. I do feel, personally speaking, weekend fun vibes are here. I will say, collectively speaking, groups, concerts, things of that nature, just, head on a swivel. That's all. Just be careful, extra careful. But yes, the weekend has the potential to have some really fun moments. Saturday, the 27th, the moon in Sagittarius will sextile Mercury in Libra, and then the moon will square Venus. Jupiter will then move to 22 degrees of Cancer. So if you have anything around 22 degrees of Cancer or Scorpio or Pisces, you'll be getting a nice sweet aspect from Jupiter to your planets. And Jupiter will be hanging out at the 22nd degree until October 5th. So it's just nice to know that, because Jupiter does want to, gift us, help us, bless us. But we, of course, also have to take the opportunities and recognize them as they come in. Okay, and then we close out the week, Sunday the 28th, the moon in Sagittarius. I have Sunday as a day to just chill, veg, do you. You want to go out, go out. You want to stay in, stay in. You want to clean, clean, whatever it is. It just feels like it has an overall optimistic vibe as we get to the weekend, dependent upon, of course, how we utilize the energy. I'm not saying that collectively speaking it's going to feel that way, but for you in your own personal world, it could very well feel that way. So honor it. I am going to go ahead and pull a tarot card for this week ahead. Week of the Equinox, one of my favorite seasons, favorite times of the year. I just love when the seasons shift into the fall months here and we go into Libra, and especially Scorpio season. It's my favorite season. I just love it. I just love the vibe. I love the energy. But then again, I am attracted to shadow work. And shadow work is when we consciously invite what has been lurking in the shadows into the light, to work on it, to work through it. That's how we do shadow work, our soul work. That's how we evolve. That's how we ascend. That's how we raise our vibration. We heal. Okay. So for this week, we got the 5 of Wands. So yeah, there could definitely be a push-pull of energy this week, a feeling of a lot. First of all, this is fire, element of fire. The Wands are fire. We are dealing with, even though Scorpio is not a fire sign, we do have Mars in Scorpio. We've got Mars squaring off with Pluto in Aquarius. It does feel that there's this push-pull energy that will be permeating the whole entire week. You could feel this as some form of an internal conflict, of some sort of resistance that you have to something that is changing in your life. But the good news is it's the 5 of Wands, so it is fluctuating circumstances, but it also speaks to our ability to be able to rise above and to shift what we can shift, that we do have some power here. We do have some control over what we choose to get involved in and give our attention to, what we choose to let irritate us, what we choose to let jazz us up in a healthy way or in a not so healthy way, how we choose to utilize this fiery energy of this week. It is a very powerful week for reflection, to think about where you've been giving a lot of your energy, your time, and your attention, what relationships, what projects, and are you seeing or feeling any type of return on these? And if you're not, you could feel a little bit of conflict around release, but that is the direction. And one more time, when in doubt, go in, not out. That is your week ahead. I hope that you have a lovely week. Take really good care of yourself. Be sure to rest. Seriously, I keep stressing it. I know I sound like a broken record. I have to remind myself of this constantly as well. This past week leading up to the solar eclipse, I felt really energetically just burnt, so I was really keeping up with the self-care and taking the extra time that I needed. And I feel a lot better for it. And I just want to stress that because I have to practice what I preach, right? And I really do consciously make that effort each and every single day. I often stop and say to myself, what would I tell a soul coming to me for guidance about this? What would I say? And I feel into that. And then I do my best to embody that, because that's how we do our soul work. We not only talk our talk, but we walk our walk. So yeah, all of that to say, self-care, rest, reset, recalibrate, welcoming Libra season. Happy birthday, Libras. Let's hope that like the season, like the sign of Libra, we too can remain in this energy of striving for balance and harmony and for what is just and right to be true and for it to come through in all forms. Have a lovely week. I'll see you all next week. Take care.